Hi, Salma. Let's take a look at your latest set of essays. Pollutions. Let's see what you wrote. The reasons for it and the solutions. Air pollution is undoubtedly one of the most pressing issues of the modern world. Overcrowding in living spaces and the excessive use of fuel-based automobiles in metropolitan cities like New York, Dubai, Tokyo, etc. are the dominant causes behind the spiraling crisis. Okay, that's lovely. Nice language. I like it. However, it's not asking what the causes are alone. It's also asking how this can be solved. So it's a really good idea to address this in your introduction. And it doesn't have to be anything too extreme. You can just say, what you said, but then you can also add, however, there are also solutions available. Okay? You want the examiner to know that you understood the question and that you're going to address both the causes and the solutions of it. Okay? All right, so let's continue. The abundance of skyscrapers in these areas you want a has here because the word here is abundance, okay? So it's singular, you want to use has. The abundance of skyscrapers in these areas has made it easier for inhabitants to take up unusually small spaces that otherwise, you don't need a comma there, that otherwise could not have been filled if urban planning was more horizontal than vertical. With a higher level of concentration, you know what I would have just said? Let's make it less wordy. So with higher concentrations of inhabitants, or with a higher concentration of inhabitants per unit of space, comes increased levels of waste and greenhouse gas emissions from overconsumption and the daily use of motor vehicles. You can see I took away the word disposal, okay? A possible solution for the aforementioned predicament is creating job opportunities and living situations outside city centers. This can be achieved by improving the infrastructure and quality of public transportation that extends to areas farther than and beyond urban cities. Consequently, the frequent use of privately owned vehicles will drastically decrease and also encourage people to live in less congested locations due to the accessibility of convenient modes of transportation, hence reducing waste and the production of harmful gases. To conclude, the only viable solution to reverse the effects of air pollution is to build accommodation and transportation on other vacant lands that allow people to spread out and dilute the damages caused by these overpopulated cities. Okay, so very nice language, good grammar, good control of vocabulary, no issues there. Yeah, this is what I was concerned about. It felt really short. Now, you may or may not know that you don't get points deducted anymore for an under-length essay. However, it's going to be very hard to get a good score in task achievement with an essay that's only 224 words, okay? So I'm going to give you some suggestions as to where I thought you could have and should have extended your essay. One place for sure is here. It felt really underdeveloped. Take a look. You know what this paragraph is? It's 2 sentences. So while it's really nicely written as far as language goes, as far as a paragraph is concerned, it's underdeveloped. So you said that it allows them to fill up these small spaces, and then with a higher concentration of inhabitants comes increased levels of waste and greenhouse gas emissions. So my question to you then is why? Okay, so for example, all right, increased waste disposal, let's say I understand it. But you could have said that this waste, I told you to get rid of the word disposal, this waste ends up in landfills around our urban areas. And where is the greenhouse gases coming from? I mean, if everyone is living in skyscrapers, aren't they like not really using cars? I mean, I'm thinking of major cities like New York, like you mentioned, where most of the inhabitants don't use cars. So I felt like you needed to explain your ideas a little further. You could have told us something about waste, and you could have also explained how you felt that these people living vertically are somehow related to the use of cars. That wasn't clear to me. So it absolutely needed more explanation. It needed support. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, and here you mentioned fuel-based automobiles, but you didn't really get into any detail about it here. Your discussion was about urban planning and vertical building. So I didn't really understand where the motor vehicles were analyzed here. It was just this and the daily use of motor vehicles. So you told us you're going to talk about it. You mentioned it, but you didn't really talk about it. And those were the areas for me that were really weak in this paragraph. Not developing and not supporting. Okay. I was happier with this paragraph. It felt more fully developed. Um, Infrastructure, public transportation. So then you talked about, okay, yeah, no, this felt better to me. I was happier with it. But the first paragraph definitely needed more work, okay? Again, language was really good, but it's issues of task achievement that need to be dealt with, okay? So why don't we take a look now at your letter? You want that summer job. Okay, let's see what you said here. Dear Sir Madam, I am writing to express my interest in joining your company for the summer as an assistant communications officer as per the openings in the careers section on your website. I am a senior student of mass communication, comma, studying at the American University of Dubai with a GPA of 3.9. With my graduation on the horizon, I am seeking practical experience in the field, specifically in the communications department. Assisting a communications officer, coordinating with the press and social media content are some of the tasks I enjoy. Okay, fine, good. Given my previous experience as an editor in the daily review of my university, my writing skills are advanced. I have also taken part in the Toronto Film Festival in the last 2 years, covering its news on all social media platforms. Hence, I'm comfortable in using photo and video editing software, singular, like Photoshop and CapCut. Further details about my education and work experience can be found, is usually what we say here. You said details, so it's not is found, but it's are found because the subject is details. All right, everything here is just detail. Look at this. So all you're doing here is telling us about the details, okay? But that's your subject. Further details can be found in the resume I have attached. Based on my credentials and skills, I believe I am highly suitable for the position. Looking forward to hearing back from you about this vacancy. Yours sincerely. All right, let's see a couple of things here. Now, number one, you started with Dear Sir Madam, which is fine, but one of the conventions of letter writing is that if you don't know the name of the person you're writing to, you're supposed to write yours faithfully, not yours sincerely. That's only when you know the name of the person you're writing to. Okay? So that's the first thing. All right. So I think you did a great job of this. That was just one little detail, but I do want you to be aware of it. I think maybe one thing that could have been a little clearer is that it's a summer job, okay? So you said that you're graduating. At one point you did say summer right here, but that was it. The fact that you're graduating, um, and then presumably would be looking for like full-time work, it didn't really make sense to me. It almost felt like you kind of, yeah, you mentioned it here, but then you neglected it. So, maybe you could have said something like, I don't know, like this would be a perfect experience for me prior to beginning my master's program in digital communications at the, you know, I don't know, University of Toronto or something. So if you had just mentioned somewhere and made the content of this letter a little more relevant to the fact that it's a summer position, I think that would have been better. I mean, what I'm basically telling you here, Salma, is a difference between like a really good score for task achievement and like an excellent score for task achievement. I really do think you did a great job. But because I know you probably are looking for a very high score, I want to give you the information that will help you get to that score. Okay? So it's a very nice set. Keep at it. You're doing great. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Okay? So good luck.